Testing, 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 testing. JB here. August 17, 2022. Going to be really quick. Hope everybody's doing outstanding. Just going to talk a little bit about Intercept, ticker ICPT, talk about TripAdvisor, IIPR, Innovative Properties, and a little bit about the Fed minutes and go from there. So first, and I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, or talk about things that happened in the past. Back in at the end, September, October of 2020, GME was still $2, maybe it was 150 a share. I looked at the short interest, the revenues, their cash position, things like that, and said, wow, this looks like an interesting opportunity. UPB, on the other hand, was all over it for the last for at least the previous year. If you take a look at the chat room history, you just could look at just search UPB and put in GME, and you can see he was posting the short interest on GME long before the epic rally in the name. I'm not going to sit here and say Intercept has the same setup. Totally different story. GME had 5,000 locations. They had the possibility that someone might acquire them, or their scale would allow them to be not only a gaming store, but allow them to do the last mile deliveries, or be warehouses for all these other possible companies. But I look at Intercept, and I'm not saying Intercept's a similar setup, but huge short interest, 37% of the shares sold short. Company has over $450 million in cash. They'll have over $750 million once their deal to license their drug in Europe gets approved. So once that goes through, they'll have $750 million in cash. It's a $490 million company. And then they have the possible tailwinds of the FDA, and they're resubmitting their application to have the possibility of their drug for NASH be approved by the FDA. They'll have an advisory council meeting, probably the first quarter of 2023. A lot of possible tailwinds. You take a look at the stock, I think it was $490, $500 2014. I don't think it gets anywhere near there, but I think there's an opportunity for people to look at it and say, hey, here's a story that's probably not as risky as a Bed Bath & Beyond, an AMC, a GameStop. There's potential catalysts on the horizon, possible M&A opportunity with Gilead or some of these other companies that have been acquiring these NASH drugs that still haven't hit the market. So I think there's an opportunity there. So still my September strikes, I'll hold those there. I didn't even look what they are right now. 80 by 85, and I got them at 48, I think, 40, 45, 48. 48. I'll hold those. If I get a chance to get them out for $1 or so, I'll probably take some profits just to cover costs. I'll hold the rest. But I think there's a FOMO opportunity here. People start looking at it and say, hey, here's a name that people have been shorting, probably unjustly so, or with some possible positive catalysts on the horizon. Great opportunity. I think it trades into the mid-20s, high 30s in the coming weeks. And then if there's some kind of FOMO activity where people start saying this is a short squeeze candidate, maybe it goes 40, 45. So that's Intercept, and the SPY is back to lows. SPY is back to the Fed minute levels. So that's Intercept. I'm not going to talk too much about TripAdvisor. Locked most of my calls in already. But another great story. I think if this was any other sell-off, Trip would be down 7, 8, 10, 12%. But now that the recent earnings report kind of show that maybe their business is turning around, stock is only down 2%. With the Nasdaq is down. Was it used to be 1.2%? Well, Nasdaq's down over 1%. So normally, if the Nasdaq was down 1%, TripAdvisor would be down 7, 8, 9, 10%. The fact that it's really not selling off too much in sympathy with the market, I think that bodes well. Not going to sit here and add anything, but still have just a couple of my 26 strikes locked in my 2350s for nice gains. Of course, I would love to be holding those as well, but still think a great story. And maybe you start looking in the next quarter, if there's a back-to-back quarters of growth, kind of this turnaround story bearing fruit. Maybe it's a $35, $40 stock in the coming weeks. So not going to sit here and grab calls on it yet to add to my other strikes, but at some point I'm gonna have to close my calls that expire Friday, and then I'll go from there. So that's TripAdvisor. IIPR. So IIPR was one of my top 5 stocks. I don't know if it was a back half stock or one of my top stocks for maybe it was like 2018, 2019. Stock was like 70, $80 back then. Ran all the way up to near $300. A great story in the cannabis space. If there's a name that you would think should bode well from what's going on with all these states, peeling back the restrictions on marijuana sales and dispensaries and all this other narratives that are going on. IIPR is one of those names that you think should bode well. They have all these properties they've acquired, lease them back to these folks who are, in the marijuana sector that probably, may not have the opportunity to get some retail space or a warehouse space. That's what IIPR is there for. They do a really good job doing it. And you would think, considering what's going on, especially with Tilray and CGC just going nuts the last couple days, you would think this would be 105, 110, 115, 120. I hope it doesn't happen next week when my calls expire, but lock some of my September 115 strikes. Actually, I have September's. So what am I talking about? I was looking at the August. So hopefully, this finds footing. It was $100. I don't know if it was 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock yesterday. Let's see what it was. Did it have $100? Let's see. Oh, it was 10:30. Yesterday it was $100.65. Bounced all the way up to 106. Came back. Here it is again today. Dipped all the way down to 101 and change. Hopefully find some bidders here into the close. Gonna hold on to those and maybe look for some other strikes because I think this really could take off, especially as all these these bills pass that remove some of the regulation in the cannabis space. And I think IIPR is a direct beneficiary of all the things that loosening of restrictions in that sector. So that's that one. I was looking at Ulta, and Monday looking at Ulta past. Tuesday was looking at Ulta soars all the way up to I think it was 419, 418.79, and then noontime 418.79 sold all the way back down, closed at the lows 407 or so. Here it is today, down at 4396. Put it on the watch list. I thought if it held 400, I would look for some calls. I'll probably wait, maybe tomorrow. They report earnings next, I think it's next Thursday. A great story. Their last earnings report surprised, and the stock is not even above those levels. So if it's back-to-back quarters of surprising growth, maybe it's 440, 450. Maybe it pulls what CMG has done. I mean, CMG before reported earnings, I think it was 1,300. And it's just, here it is at $1,700. So I'm not going to sit here and say Ulta's $400. It's going to go to 500, but definitely an opportunity, I think, to play it, at least nibble some speculative calls, to play for some premium builds. So if I get 450, 460 strikes, stock rallies before the earnings, locks them in, and hold the rest for hold the rest as freebies into earnings. That would be the great way to play it. Unfortunately, stock has not cooperated. So 425 it hit at noon. Maybe yes. I'll probably wait till tomorrow to play Ulta. But I think it's a great setup. In Target, they have the store within a store formats with Ulta. That didn't shake folks. So I think opportunity to play for upside. Yeah, I miss those old days. I'm trying to think of some other things here. The SPY. I put it on the watch list Monday and Tuesday, and even this morning I thought maybe 425. Well, 420 and 425. Yesterday we had the SPY go over 430. Today, similar story. We had the SPY break over. Let's see. Where did we get up to? Got close to 430 before pulling back after the Fed minutes. So maybe that's our tradable range for now. Some chop, some consolidation before we, hit the gas, and maybe we get to 435, 440 before there's, next leg to the downside. Especially as you start to look September, October. That's when everybody starts getting back from vacation or they take the summers off. Volumes should start picking up. Is that the start of the next downturn? Who knows? I'm not going to sit here and try and time downturns. I've been playing short-term calls or somewhat short-term calls as opposed to trying to play the puts. Maybe we hold here, and I think there's some playable opportunities to the upside. I think that's it. I'm trying to think of some other names. I mean, these Best Bed Bath & Beyond, GameStop, just crazy stuff. I mean, Cohen from from Chewy Lore, the founder of Chewy. He's done really well, and he's able to take these niche businesses that have had opportunities that you would think that Amazon would encroach on and just turn them into behemoths. So who knows if the similar thing's going to happen with Bed Bath Beyond. I don't know if I put it on the watch list last week or maybe it was Monday, where it's like Bed Bath Beyond, they already got rid of their proprietary brands, right? So all those products that maybe would provide some kind of moat around their business are gone. So all they are is a destination for folks who are looking to buy towels or toiletries, things like that. So I'm not dismissing the value proposition on that company, but it's like a totally different niche, So not here nor there. I'm not saying Bed Bath Beyond can't go 50, 80, $100, but certainly interesting when you start looking at some of these names. I think he's kind of milked a cow already. Yeah. Bye baby. I'm trying to think of some other analogies that I can come up with, but AMC has their dividend, right? So their eighth dividend is going to be, I think it's Monday, and here's his folks, and you look at AMC, and it's like, is the future of watching entertainment and content sitting in a chair at a destination that you have to drive 10, 15 minutes for, pay 10, 15, I haven't been to movies in a while, so I don't know how much the tickets are, $10, $15 for, and then buy, $10, $15, $20 in concessions that, popcorn or what have you, and then to sit in a chair that might be dirty next to someone you don't know, and to watch something that eventually will probably be streaming in a couple months. Like, is that the future of how people want to watch content? So you look at AMC, it's just mind-boggling that they're still able to, people look at them and it just does not make sense to me. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense to people. I'm not going to sit here and short it, but they're going to come out with this special dividend, and all that's going to allow AMC to do is, because they've already maxed out their initial shares that they can, I think there was an offering at their shareholder meeting that was voted down, so now they do this special dividend, and now they're doing an offering on their ape spinoff. Just the craziest stuff. I guess if you're smart and you're running AMC, take advantage of liquidity. Kramer, I didn't really like what he said this morning about Bed Bath & Beyond, but it's like you're almost stupid not to raise capital here. You have the holiday season coming, a lot of inventory issues, things that you need to do. Do an offering. Got to do it. So anyway, that's it, folks. I'll try and get back on the audio later. Let's have a great day. Rock and roll.